Hello everybody and welcome to Storm Reads, and today I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up. Even it seemed like April went a little bit faster than March did, and so I'm really happy with the books that I read. Apologize about the tinted glasses. I forgot I went for a walk and was outside, and I forgot to put my regular glasses on, and I don't want to go all the way downstairs just for my glasses. So hopefully this is okay. And anyway, I read 19 books, and I read 6 male authors and 9 female authors. I had 2 print books, 4 ebooks, and 13 audio books. It was definitely an audio month, and it's still an audio type thing. I guess that is just the only thing I'm really in the mood for. And out of those, I read 8 mystery thrillers, 6 middle grade, 2 horror, 1 YA contemporary, 1 YA paranormal, and 1 fantasy type. And I did also participate in the Owls Readathon, and so I'm going to start off with that and let you know what I read for the Owls. And then I also half-heartedly did the Half-a-Weenathon, so I'll let you know like what I did finish for that, and then I'll get on to the rest of the books that I read. And so for Owls, I was going for a librarian, and I did finish my Owls. I had to change out one of my books though. I was trying to read Deep Light for Ancient Ruins, which was either had to have a heart on the cover or in the title, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. It was too slow, and that was definitely one of them I wished I would have had maybe an audiobook for, and it just wasn't grabbing my attention. I'll probably try it later, but for now I just had to put it up. And so instead I looked around to try to find something that I might be interested in that had heart on it or in it, the title, and the only thing I could really come up with was Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire. This is book 1 in the Wayward Children series. Not really that big of a fan. Probably about 3 stars. It's about children who go in and out these doorways, and whenever they come back, they're different. So they kind of have to go to this one school and kind of assimilate. And some of them start getting murdered, and so there's a mystery. And I don't really like any of the characters that much, and even my favorite character, which was Jack, I wasn't really that huge of a fan of. But I mean, it was okay. I may continue with the series, and I might not. I don't know. We'll just see. But anyway, I got it done. Okay, and for the next one was Arithmecy, and that one you were supposed to read something the opposite, like I guess something I don't normally read. And I thought this one was going to be a lot more opposite, but it wasn't really. But I mean, it did have sci-fi elements in it, which is something I don't read, but it really kind of was a crime novel, which is what I like. But we're going to go with it anyway, because it did have some strange creatures in it, which is things I don't really read much about. And this is Titan Shade by Dan Stout, and I gave this one 4 stars. It was kind of in a place where they have creatures that live alongside humans, and they work together, and these two are partners on they're both detectives, and this thing is called a melancholy, I think. So I mean, they're like alien species, and so that's where I thought it was going to be more sci-fi, but it really wasn't that much of a sci-fi. But overall, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And I am currently in the middle of reading the second one, which is called Titan's Day. And so hopefully I'll like that one too. There we go. And the next one is Defense Against the Arts. Dark Arts. Defense Against the Dark Arts. And that one was to read a book that was set by the sea or coast. So I read Written in Stone by Ellery Adams. This was number 5 in the Books on the Bay series. And I really enjoyed this. That's Haviland. He's my favorite character right there. And this is about Olivia, who is a writer, and she also meets with a bunch of other writers, and they have this group where they critique each other's novels, and they also solve crimes. So it's pretty cool. And I have The History of Magic, which is to read something that featured a witch or a wizard. So I listened to The Wizard of Once by Cressida Cowell. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyway, this one was narrated by David Tennant, and that's really what made the book. This is really cute, but it really was his narration that really just put it over the top, and I give it 4 stars. And it's about a young boy who he's been waiting to become magical, and his magic hasn't come in, and his brother makes fun of him. So he decides that he's going to use witch's blood to kind of help things go along, but things don't go quite according to plan, and he has to kind of make things a little bit better than what they were. And he has to work with somebody that he's not supposed to be friends with. So it was cute. And the last one for Owls was Transfiguration, and we had to read something about shapeshifter. And so I had picked this one, Hood Academy, by Shelley Wilson. And this was a young adult paranormal about a girl, Mia, who she sees her father get killed by a werewolf right off the first page or two. And she is taken by her uncle that she doesn't really know to this place called the Hood Academy. It's supposed to be a place where hunters train, and you become a hunter because you have seen a werewolf, and that means you have the hunter gene in you. But she's got some other things going for her besides being a hunter, and so she's got to kind of figure out who she is and what she wants to do. And overall it was decent. They had some slow spots in it, and so I gave it about 3 stars, but it was okay. So that is all of the Owls that I had to do. I only had to do 5. I tried to pick something small so that I could get through them all. I almost didn't think I was going to, but I did manage it. And so now if I decide I want to take my newts, I can go ahead and do that whenever that comes up, I think in August or something like that. And then I tried to do the half Halloween, but then I just realized I wasn't quite in the mood for it. But I did do some of it, and you had to read a book with orange or black on the cover, and so for that I went ahead and just used Every Heart's a Doorway by Shannon McGuire, and then you had to read a book with something supernatural, and so I used the Hood Academy for that. And then you had to read a spooky book, and you're supposed to watch the movie. Well, I couldn't find a free version of the movie, but I did read Psycho, where I listened to it, and the narrator was William Hootkins, and to tell you the truth, it was the narrator that really made this. I mean, it wasn't a bad book. It was really short, and it was only 3 hours and 15-minute narration. So it was really quick, but the guy, he really knew how to do these creepy kind of voices, especially when it comes to the mother character and everything, and it just, his whispering sometimes just really brought out the creep factor in this one. And so for that I gave it 4 stars because the narration was just really on point, and I really liked it. I would like to watch the movie because believe it or not, I've never actually seen Psycho the whole thing. I've seen clips, and I did go online and watch clips of it, but I couldn't find the actual whole movie for free. But I did get to see clips, so I don't know if that counted or not, but I did watch clips. And then you were supposed to decorate your space for Halloween or dress up, and I just was never in the mood for doing that, so I just didn't do that part. But for the most part, I got most of it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and tell you about all the rest of the books that I read this month that wasn't in a readathon. And I've got them in genres. It was just, I thought it would be a little bit easier. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the middle grade first. And with that, I have The Deceivers by Margaret Peterson Haddix. And this is the second book in the Greystone Chronicles. And it was pretty good. It had a little bit of some slow, I think maybe some second book syndrome. I really enjoyed the first one, so I was really excited to read this one. But there were some parts that kind of lulled and everything, and it did leave it wasn't really like a cliffhanger, but it did kind of leave it to where I am kind of curious to see what's going to happen with the third book. This is about 3 kids who in the first book find out that there are 3 other kids their same age with their same names, and they find out there's some kind of parallel type universe. And it's some of the things, I can't really say what happens, what they're doing in the second book, because it would spoil some things that happened in the first book. But it was good, and I liked it, and I would give it 3.5 stars. And then I listened to Trapped by James Ponti, and this is narrated by Brian Holden. This is the third book and I'm guessing the final book, because I didn't see any other ones, and this one was out, I think came out in 2017. The audio book just came out this year, but like the actual book was 2017. And this one is about the two middle grader aged kids who help the FBI solve crimes. They're kind of like a little mini Sherlock Holmes. And in this one, Marcus, the FBI agent that they work with, is in trouble because of something that they did. And so they have to try to figure out what exactly happened and catch the bad guy so that Marcus doesn't have to resign. So it was really good. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. The next book I listened to was Ghost Squad, and this one is by Clarabella. I can say this, I really can. Clarabelle A. Ortega, and it was narrated by Almaria Guerrera. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, this one is kind of like a middle grade Ghostbuster, and so it's about a young girl who I cannot think of her name. It was a little bit of a different name, and her friend the one girl can see ghosts of her family, and they live in these fireflies, and there's something trying to get the fireflies. And so they thought they would do this magic spell, but it kind of backfires, and they let in some evil spirits, and so they have to try to figure out how to get rid of them. And her friend's grandmother is a witch. Her name is Babette, and she has these ghost catching things that they use to go and round up these evil spirits, and it was really cute. And it was a really good story about friendship and everything, and I really liked it, and I gave it 4 stars. The next I have is Monster Street Carnival, and this is by J.H. Reynolds, and it is read by James Fohey. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this one was kind of like more like a chapter book. It's kind of in the vein of Goosebumps, and it's just a cute little scary middle grade book for those who like little things a little bit more spooky. And it's about 2 brothers who go to this carnival, and there's some bad things happening at the carnival, and the older brother ends up having to kind of rescue the younger brother from some things. And I can't really say much more because it was really short. I think it was only like a 2-hour and something listen. So I mean, it was really, really quick. I did get this one from Tantor Audio for review, and yeah, I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I think it would be really cute, and I think middle graders would like it, especially if they like things like Goosebumps. And my last middle grade would be A Field Guide to Getting Lost by Joy McCullough, and it was read by Tara Sands. And this one was really cute. It's middle grade contemporary, and I don't usually read middle grade contemporary, but I saw this on Hoopla, and I was just wanting something quick and easy to read that I didn't really, have to pay too much attention to, and it was just kind of the mindset that I was in. And I had seen this one whenever I was looking up some anticipated reads for middle grades, and I did think it sounded like it might be good, so I went ahead and decided to give it a try, and I'm glad I did because it was really cute. And it's about a science kind of nerd girl, and I can't remember, Sutton, I think her name was Sutton, and she's trying to make this robot do what she wants, and she gets kind of frustrated because she can't get the science and get the coding right. And it's about a boy whose name is Luis, and he likes adventure and thrilling things, but the only thing is it's all in his imagination, and he's writing a book because he can't go out and experience those things on his own because he has like a ton of allergies, allergic to bees, he's allergic to nuts, he's allergic to all kinds of stuff. But they do have an adventure and an outing whenever they all decide to go hiking, because his mother and her father are dating, and so they are trying to get them together to see how it's going to work as maybe a family unit, and some things go a little haywire. And she finds out that they can work Sutton and him find out that they can work together if they use her scientific mind and his imagination. So it was really cute. it's a good family story about, you know, blending families and things like that. So next up I have mystery, and I finished out a series, and so I'll show you all of the books as soon as I find them. Okay, so I did Poison Prose by Ellery Adams. Then there was Lethal Letters by Ellery Adams, Righting All Wrong, and Killer Characters. And this was a good series all the way up until this book here, and the ending of this series just about killed me, and it really kind of ticked me off, and it definitely didn't have a cozy ending, but I did like the series overall, but the ending just was not right, and I didn't like the ending, and I've been ranting about it ever since. So I won't go into it too much, but it's the one I mentioned earlier because I had used one of the books for the owls, and it's about Olivia who works with a writing group, and they solve mysteries and everything, and I really, really love the characters, and that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't like this one at the end. But there you go. As a whole, I would give the series like 4 stars. This one on its own got 3.5 because I docked a half a star for I didn't like the ending. And then and that series is narrated by Karen White, who's one of my favorite narrators. And this one is also narrated by Karen White, and this is Proof of Murder by Lauren Elliott, and this is either book 4 or book 5 in the Beyond the Page bookshop mysteries. And this series I am a little on the fence about. Sometimes I liked the story and sometimes I don't. It had a love triangle that I just wasn't a fan of, and I just didn't like how things were going with that, and sometimes I think the main character is a little teenage in her angst whenever it come to the guys and stuff, but overall, I mean, it's a decent series. I would say maybe about a 3.5, 3.75, 3.75, I don't know. It was okay. And off the top of my head, I can't even remember what this one was about. So that's kind of how that goes. But yeah, I'm all caught up on this, and I did get this one from Tantor Audio for review, so at least I'm caught up on the series, which doesn't happen much whenever I read cozies. And then, let's see, the last mystery I have is Another Man's Moccasins by Craig Johnson, and this is number 4 in the Longmire series, and this was where I decided that trying to read one of these books a month just isn't going to happen because I just wasn't really looking forward to them. I was really hoping I would, but this is kind of where I think watching the series on TV before reading the books was a bad idea, because I really love the show and these just aren't living up to it. They're decent, run-of-the-mill, kind of border 3-star reads. They're not, you know, they're just not holding my interest much. So me and my friend who was buddy reading them decided we were not going to do that anymore. We were going to try a different series. So there you go. And if you don't know, that was about Walt Longmire and everything, and from the Longmire like TV series. That's why I can't even really remember hardly anything that happened. And the last 2 books that I have here are my 2 print books. And I did have this one for review from Peachtree Publishing, and it came out in April, and it was What I Like About Me by Jenna. I have no idea how you say her last name. Gulami? I don't know. Anyway, there it is. But this was a YA contemporary about a girl named Macy who is a little on the plus size and kind of the typical run-of-the-mill. She's got a friend who's a skinny mini, and so she is very self-conscious about herself, and they go to the beach to spend the holidays. Her family always goes with another family, and this time her father can't go, so she is allowed to invite her friend with her, Anna, and that's when some things start to go wrong, because her friend Anna falls for Sebastian, which is the guy that Maisie kind of likes, and so yeah, Then she decides that she's going to join a beauty pageant, and she didn't know how that was going to affect everybody and everything in her life. And overall, it was a cute, kind of, I don't know, cute, average type of YA contemporary. I thought it had really good plus size representation, especially how she views herself at the end of this book and everything. Even though I'm not anywhere near being a young adult, it did remind me of a lot of my high school days and growing up. I was the plus size kid with the skinny mini friends, and so it was really easy to kind of, put myself into her shoes and everything. I did think there was a little bit too much teenage angst, but then, it is YA and that's how it goes. But overall, it was pretty decent, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And the worst book of the month, The Funhouse by Owen West, aka Dean Koontz. This was just really horrible. I gave it 2 stars. It was so slow and boring. I actually found it on Scribd on audio, and probably if it wasn't for that, I would have probably DNF'd this. But me and my friend, we were doing a retro read horror post on our blogs, and this was my retro read because it did come out in 1980. And I think I'm learning that I should not attempt Dean Koontz's earlier works, especially whenever he decides to put them under a different name, because if he couldn't use his actual name whenever he writes, maybe that means it's really bad. But it was just bad. It's about about the kind of the sins of a mother, something that she did whenever she was young, and everything comes back to haunt her when this guy decides he wants to exact revenge on her daughter that she has, that everything, and they go to this fun house, and that's where all this stuff happens, and it was just really boring. That was it. Boring. Anyway, so that's all 19 books that I read in the month of April, and overall I had a pretty decent reading month. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.